So I'm on this plane for 14 hours. All right, and I've got a schedule. I've got a drinking schedule that gets you from Sydney, Australia to fucking LAX. All right, and this is how it goes. Doesn't matter what time you get to the airport, you find the bar. Maybe a good hour, you got to get there 1 hour before you check in. When you get through your baggage claim or your baggage checks and all that shit, you go straight to the bar and you order yourself double Jack and Coke. All right, and you got to slam that. All right, now hopefully you haven't eaten for a good few hours. You haven't eaten much in that day because it's going to make your alcohol count. All right. So before we go on, drinking one of you American beers, you know, and not to be outdone by my boy down under. There we go. So you get on that plane half tanked, right? And the stewardesses are going to come around. They're going to keep offering you drinks. And if you're nice enough and you show you're not going to be a problem, you get a double. Every so often, and they come back, you get a double. If you can drink yourself to a point where you're just about to go to sleep, perfect. That's where you want to be, right? Now, you'll probably get maybe 2-3 hours worth of sleep. Not good sleep, but you're going to pass the time, right? So what are we down to? We're down to, 11 hours. Got to do something. You got to watch a movie, get a few more drinks. They might feed you. The food's not much, but you know you're going to need something to soak up some of that alcohol, so you don't feel like shit when you get off this plane. Slam down your dinner, finish that fucking movie, get a few Slurpees in there before you they start turning the lights out, because you want to get those drinks down so you can pass back out again, slide into the layover, right? In this case, we're going to Vancouver. We're not going to LAX today. We're going to fucking Vancouver. So you maybe sleep for another few hours. And here's the thing. Once you get into it, once you're like 6, 7, 8 hours into that flight, there's a few hours there that just go like that, you know, a few piss breaks, a few more drinks. But the last 2 hours are the worst. Those last 2 hours are those 14 hours wrapped up. So I slide into Vancouver. I'm not feeling good at the moment because I've drunk myself into an oblivion coming over. But they scuttle me off the plane. They put me on the next one, pour me into the seat, and off we go to Toronto. The problem with Toronto is that it seems like just everyone just speaks French. Well, I don't speak fucking French, right? I speak English, but they don't give a fuck, because English is set over there in, like, you know, they'll race through the English. Don't need to get to the French and just fucking do poetry. So I get lost. I don't know where the US, the terminals are for international. And this dumb motherfucker asked me, as I'm trying to get to my plane, they take you through customs and shit. And they're like, how long are you here for? And I'm like, as fucking short a time as I can, mate. I need to get on my plane and get the fuck out of here. And he's like, well, what's your reason for visiting? I'm like, I don't know. My fucking plane brought me here, buddy. I didn't come here on purpose, all right? It's part of the trip. They're like, well, you're not staying, it was some stupid line question. Like, they must have known that I was going to a departing plane, but the questions were like I was staying for 6 weeks, So I get through that fucking malarkey, get on this plane, flying to Philly. Now, between Toronto and Philly, there's this massive storm front. Well, we're going to fly through this fucking storm front, but kind of like when the plane starts to get a little bit too shaky, the pilot decides that we're going to try to get out of it and fly around it. Well, we didn't just fly too much around it, as we kind of up and around it. And it was the most majestic thing I'd ever seen. Coming out of the clouds and kind of circling around, we got to see the big storm system just like fucking barreling through. It was unbelievable. The guy next to me is white knuckling it. I'm fucking got deicide in my head, and we're just like, we're going all the way, mate. We don't give a fuck. If we're coming down in flames, it's going to be the best way to go. And I'm still a little tipsy, right? Because, I'm not tipsy, but I'm feeling seedy. I think there's probably still a little bit of alcohol in the system, but I'm not feeling great. So at that point, I don't give a fuck. As flying into Philly, I couldn't get over how big Philly is. Philly is fucking massive. Huge. So I get off I'm worried. I don't know where the fuck the girl's going to be because I'm meeting her there. I'm assuming she knows where I'm coming out, but I don't know where I'm going. So we got a problem already. Now, lo and behold, I find a needle in the haystack. We decide we're going to go and get food. She's going to take me to a Philly destination spot that I need to go to really experience what Philly is, and that's South Street, and that's Jim Steaks. I've never had a cheesesteak, not a real one. They take me in there. Turns out I'm too slow to order because, God forbid, I want to look at the menu. Turns out they only sell one thing, fucking cheesesteaks. But what they wanted me to decide on in like half a second was whether I wanted cheese with it or not. So it's wit or without. I fucking wanted it wit. What's the point of having a cheesesteak with no fucking cheese on it? I think that's right. I don't know if it's onions. Could be onions. Either way, I got the lot because I was like, fuck it, just load that prick up. But what I found in that little experience, which would follow me for the next 5 years, is that no one under fucking stands me. And people in Philly are just willing to yell at you for the simplest of things. And that was very kind of jarring at the start, but now that I've been here for a while, I'm kind of used to the chaos. I don't take it personally. And I will say that waking up in a country where, you know, will you be shot today on your way to work? Will you make it home? The chaos of just people's lives and how they somehow interact with yours is fucking worth the admission into this country alone. It's 100% excitement all the time. Even if you're a boring prick like me, there's always some fucking weird shit going on. So I advise you all, you Australians, get over here and have a fucking look. But don't come to the East Coast because this is my fucking part of the world, alright? Stick on the West Coast with all the other fucking tourists. Now, since being here, I've found myself in weird situations that I don't necessarily understand how I got into them. But we were staying in Philly for a week, and we were staying with some friends, and not being a drug guy, I haven't really had much experience with it apart from, you know, high school and stuff. I worked for the government where they would drug test you, so the last thing you wanted to do was lose a great fucking job by taking drugs. So I was clean for a long time. I'm sure that did nothing for my complexion though, but regardless. So I decided that night's a good night to invest in a little bit of, you know, weed smoking, which I'm just not ready for because I don't know what happened between when I was in high school and 5 years ago, but they upped the fucking strength of that shit. So I have some hits from the bong, I guess. And at this point I'm fucked. Can't get up, but I know that I got to get outside and walk because I figure I can walk this off and go back to being normal again and never touch that shit. You know, I'm not doing weed anymore because I'm fucking a mess. Can't talk, but I can walk. Well, the guy in there is taking this girl home, walking her home, make sure she gets there safe. They're going to walk the dog. Perfect. Fucking perfect. I can get out and stretch the old legs, get some fresh air. So I follow them home. We get to this girl's house. It turns out what her job is she kicks guys in the nuts on camera. And I guess like YouTube, before I was really aware of OnlyFans, this is what is OnlyFans now, I guess. So here she's kicking guys in the nuts. I'm sitting there, but by the time, I'm fine when I'm walking, but when I sit down, fucking zombie land, right? So I decided to sit on the floor, cross-legged like a fucking guru. And something in me said, you know what you need to do? You need to smoke another bowl. That's what I did. I managed to be able to do that. The next thing I remember is this girl hitting me with fucking sticks and straps and whips and shit. And it hurts. It fucking hurts, but I can't form the words to say stop. But what I can do is my brain can go into anxiety mode and realize that now I have to stare directly at the person who I came with, because if I let them out of my sight for 2 seconds, they will disappear and I will not be able to find my way back, hence being lost in Philadelphia forever. Well, now I'm staring. I can't talk. I can't tell these people to stop hitting me with whips. But this big, dumb, fucking catatonic Australian sitting there staring dead-eye into this other guy's, you know, life or soul, because I don't want to let him out of my sight because he's my only ticket home. somewhere along the way, we decide we're going to go home. And now I'm like, I don't know if I'm following the right person or I'm following a random person because I'm so fucking high. And I decide that maybe it's a good idea to pick up the phone and call the girl, right? But to pick up the phone and call the girl, I've got to stop, hence letting him walk on. I make that panic phone call. She doesn't pick up. Now I'm completely stranded. My worst nightmares have come true. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm lost. People have guns. I'm the wrong colour to be in the neighbourhood that I'm in, so I think, because that's now flooding my brain. And I don't know where I am and I don't know where I'm going. Well, it turns out we were across the street, and all I had to do was cross the street that was about, see where that wall is? Almost as far as that wall. So thank you for coming on this journey and letting me relive that nightmare. But it never stopped there. Like, you find when you're in another country and suddenly you're trying to blend in or not stand out too much, that it's hard to do that if you're not used to the culture. So gunshots, fucking weird for me. Yelling and screaming and fighting and having cars parked almost in your front door, very weird for me. So no matter where I go, no matter what I do, I'm at a loss in every situation. I can't even order coffee because ordering a coffee over here is like fucking performing brain surgery. Ordering a coffee doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a hot coffee. You need to specify that it needs to be hot. Well, sometimes I might want an iced coffee. Well, I can't say iced coffee because I say iced wrong. I say iced. Iced. Not iced. The way the fucking Americans say it. Iced. So that got so funny in the end that we were just taking videos of me, sending me into a random coffee store, mostly Dunkin', because, you know, it's full of people that don't necessarily want to be there, and they're not ready for the Australian to walk in because they don't get Australians over here all that much, right? So I'm a bit of an anomaly. Give me an order, let me walk in and order it and see what I came out with, right? That's the new game. Never, ever did I get the shit that we were supposed to get, but it was funny to do. But that hasn't stopped to this day. I still kind of feel at odds in this country, but I don't think I can ever leave it. You know, I think I love it here too much. There's more than enough crazy people to just keep me entertained. And I love extreme personalities, and this place is full of extreme personalities. I don't necessarily want to have you at my house, but I enjoy being around people like that as long as I can leave you when I need to go. But they're everywhere, and it's fucking amazing. And a lot of the time, that's where I get a lot of inspiration to, you know, come home and write something, because it's like the craziness that you get to see when you clump 380 million people together in cities and then spread them out in the vast, you know, pieces of the world and let them live by themselves. Like, no one here, I don't think, is as sane in the way that I know it. But since being here, I've run into some fucking amazing people that are so willing to kind of go that extra mile, you know, and not really know you, and kind of put their fucking, you know, then is it the neck on the line for you, and they're kind of excited to do it. It's a weird thing, and, you know, I really don't know how to take that, but, you know, America is definitely an experience if you ever wanted to start a new life and come over and try your hand at black metal. And the bands here, fucking amazing. You know, you think that you're in this little scene in Sydney and you want to be the biggest band in Sydney and play the best venues, and then you come here and you're in very, very, very tiny fish in a very big bowl, and you see how fucked you really are. But somewhere in that being fucked is where the fun starts. And like I said, I've met some great people here who also like to have fun with the fuckery, and it's definitely been an experience. But I'd really like to go through some of the times here and just kind of relay to you how much different everything is. And every day's someone different, someone who I've got to explain myself to or whatever. And at the start it was kind of fun. Now it's getting less and less fun. And if anyone asks where I'm from now, I just say South Jersey. And you just watch the confusion on their faces. You know, there's like 20,000 odd accents in this country, man. I'm pretty sure that they don't know where I'm from, and they wouldn't know if fucking I'm from South Dakota or South Jersey. Like they just accept it. So South Jersey is where I'm from, born and bred, baby. But until next time, say hi to your mum for me.